Hey, it's your girl Carla Renata. I am back for Black Tomatoes, and we got Deadpool 2 book club, some solo teasers, and so much more. Child, stay tuned. Hello, everyone. This is a jam-packed week for movies here at the Black Tomatoes at Black Hollywood Live. I don't know if we're going to be able to get them all in, but we are definitely going to try. I am your host, Carla Renata, and I am joined by
Scott Menzel. How are you today, Carla?
I am great. I'm great. So I wanted to just talk very quickly about some of the news that is out there and about. So I know that right before we came in, one of our engineers here, Anthony, was talking about 2001 making $1 billion, and you said it was like in only
It's
four
crazy.
theaters or something.
Four theaters, 70 millimeter print, and I mean it's made buku bucks.
That's crazy. And this is like its 50th year or something like that. That's crazy. So it's getting down. It's celebrating the anniversary and it's making money. I love it. I also wanted to talk about the fact that Avengers Infinity War has reached 1.81 billion worldwide. That's
a lot of money.
Bananas. Deadpool set a record for Fox Studios by making 176 million overseas, and the weekend's not even over yet.
No.
So we'll see how that pans out. So let's first talk about book club. I did not see book club, but let me just make some disclaimers about book club.
Sure, go for it.
I really wanted to see it, but I was slammed with movies this week for a variety of reasons. And I love those 4 stars. I love them to death. And the premise of it seemed like it was going to be so much fun. These 4, when they broke out that 50 Shades of Grey, I'm like, just the fact that Candice Bergen and Jane Fonda are talking about 50 Shades of Grey, that in itself looked like it was going to ensue hilarity for me. So I'm really sad I didn't get to see it yet, but you saw it.
Yes.
What did you think?
I did not have the happiness
You did not have the warm and fuzzies?
that you feel right
You
now.
never have the warm and fuzzies.
I did well. As our wonderful, beautiful sound engineer has said to us,
Marissa,
it is a perfect film for, I think, women over 50. And I think that especially if you're a white privileged woman over 50, it's
no,
very
not the white privilege.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
No.
The idea of this movie is pretty funny. The 4 girls who are in this film, and that's Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Mary Steenburgen, and Candice Bergen.
Mm-hmm.
They all get a copy of 50 Shades of Grey, and they read the entire trilogy. And that's a very small part of this movie, though. So essentially, it's all about their lives and their relationships, whether it's with their husbands or if they're looking for love. And that's kind of the heart and soul of the movie. It's a love story for older women.
Okay, but why did they start the book club? Did they start the book club just to make themselves feel revitalized, or?
It's very funny because the book club it takes a back seat. Like the movie's called Book Club, but there's not that much about the book club.
Because you're explaining to me what the film is about. I'm like, I don't hear nothing about no book club.
No, it's not. Like they bust out the books and like they each read a little bit of that. They come together every 30 minutes of the movie. They might come together for about 5 minutes to kind of discuss the book and kind of poke fun at it. And that's about it. So I would say 15 to 20 minutes of the movie is based on like 50 Shades of Grey conversation. The rest of the movie is just about these odd relationships. Like Jane Fonda's character falls out of love with someone from a long, long time ago. He winds up showing up at a hotel and they meet again and sparks fly and it's all about their relationship. And she's like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then Mary Steenburgen's character, she's trying to get her husband to seduce her because they haven't had sex in a long time. So she's trying all these weird things and she's finding a lot of inspiration from the book. And then Candice Bergen's character is completely like off men completely. She gets involved with online dating. She goes out on a date with Richard Dreyfuss, Wallace Shawn, a whole bunch of different people. They kind of hit it off. They have awkward sexual encounters. So I mean, it's a great film for that maybe even 40 plus crowd. I think that's who this target audience is for. I rolled my eyes more times than I can count when I was watching this movie.
Wow.
But that's again, I'm not the target demo for this, and the audience that we were in really ate this movie up. So
Okay.
I think it works for certain demographics. And I also will say, and Katie from the LA Online Film Critic said this today too, was it's getting different reactions from a female audience as opposed to a male.
But I say that all the time.
Yes,
When we
yes.
had a meeting the other night
Right.
with the organization, I said, and I can't remember what film we were talking about, but I was like, sometimes women just look at things differently than guys do. So it may like that resonated with you the way it resonated with you, but then Marissa, our sound engineer,
Right.
was like, it resonated with her, but she said she was secretly a 70-year-old woman. So there was that. Not to put you on blast, Marissa, but that was funny as hell.
Yeah, no.
No,
She's
because I
right.
am.
That was funny as hell.
She's 100% right. I mean, it's a different audience, and it's great that there's a movie not for me. I mean,
Okay.
it's great.
Okay.
And I'm glad that this movie did well because it says something to studios. It says you can take a risk on a small movie like this that has appealed to a different audience and it'll still do okay at the box
And
office.
let me tell you what else this says to a studio. Not everything needs to be an Avengers or a Star Wars or, something that appeals to the younger demographic. Even, and this is the funny thing about studios consistently trying to make films that appeal to a younger demographic is that the younger demographic has to get money from their parents to go to the movies in the
Yes,
first place,
right.
unless they have a job. So there's that. So I'm glad that there's been a resurgence of women over a certain age on television. I'm glad that that's finally starting to translate to the bigger screen as well. So, yay, book club. Yay, Hercules claps. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about Deadpool 2. Now,
You did see it.
I did see Deadpool. Let me just
Okay,
qualify and say,
okay.
I only saw Deadpool 2 because you raved about it, so I'm like, well, let me see it. And I do like superhero stuff. So I watched the first one in anticipation because I hadn't seen the first one either. And I think that Deadpool 2 does a really good job of keeping the origins and what made the first one such a big success. I think they did a really good job of translating that into the second one as well. I like the fact that they make fun of themselves, that there's all these jokes that if you don't know the movie or the pop culture reference, you don't get it, but if you do get it, it's freaking hilarious.
But what I love about it is that it's not just super obvious references.
No,
like
not
you
at
have
all.
Yentl in there or RoboCop. It's like really, it's either like you got to be a film lover to really appreciate some of the references.
Yeah, that Papa Can You Hear Me? I was
Oh
like,
my
if he does
gosh.
that one more time,
Yeah,
I'm going to lose my mind. And then I also liked the fact that they had an LGBTQ character. They had a plus size superhero, because I joke all the time. I'm always joking about if they ever decide to do a plus size superhero, I'm your girl right here. I always said that. I'm like, I could have a trench coat, have me a little AK-47, work it out. But I really like the fact that they incorporated those characters and they didn't hit you over the head with it. Like it was mentioned once and that was it.
Yes, it was terrific. And I want to take this one step further and say that in the first movie, Brianna Hilbrand, who I got to interview earlier this week, she was kind of like the leading female character. And
Right.
in this one, we got to have her step aside to get another female leading character with Domino. And I think it's great because the movie it's a Ryan Reynolds movie. It's
Right.
his movie. It's Deadpool. That's where you
Right.
go to see these movies for. But to have 2 great female characters, one who is in this movie seems like a
Is
lesbian,
lesbian.
and then to have a black one and the other character in the secondary movie, and leading up to the X-Force movie that will have all of them, it's going to be great. I give them a lot of credit for really balancing all this out. And like you said, the plus size kid, and there's even a joke in the movie that he's like,
Right.
there's no room for plus size
He
mutants or
says
something
that.
like
That's why I
that.
said they mention it once and then they
Yeah.
never mention it again, and they just get on with the telling of the story. But I'm glad that you mentioned this is a Ryan Reynolds film, because I seem to feel like Hollywood is taking a new trajectory in in the lane of a lot of stars are getting really tired of sitting back and waiting for Hollywood to come to them with a script that they think is worthy to star in, and they started creating their own projects, producing them, directing them, writing them, starring in them, and he is starring in this and producing it. I don't think he wrote it.
He did. He had
write it.
Part of the screenwriting
Okay,
credit for it.
I wasn't sure with this one. I know he didn't do the first one.
No.
So and so I was like, oh, did he? Did he not? I don't remember. Okay, so he did write it. He wrote it, produced it, and starred in it. That's huge.
Yes.
And it's making the kind of money that it's making. I think this sends a huge message to the studios that, look, you don't have to keep doing the same tired formula over and over and over again. Every once in a while, if you just do something that doesn't fit the cookie cardboard cutter cut out,
Yeah.
then look what happens. The same thing happened with A Quiet Place. John Krasinski is starring in that and producing that, and that's
And
making
he wrote
a
it
lot,
too.
and he
part
wrote
of
that
it
too.
Yeah.
And so these movies are making a lot of money, and they're coming from the stars, not from some miscellaneous person or some person who's written the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm really excited about that.
I want to also comment on that because what's so nice about Deadpool is that. And people can say it could be a little exhausting. I mean, this movie throws a lot at you. It throws a lot of jokes. I mean, I don't even know if they all hit or if it's just because I'm laughing or I'm too engaged or whatever. But there's so much being thrown at you. But it feels so fresh compared to all the other movies because it's a action comedy. And like it does push the envelope. And I mean, I love how politically correct the movie is. Like so like it's making fun like, Black Widow, it's poking fun at like being racist, like Cable, like the entire time he's like turn down the Indian music and he's like you're such a racist. Like I love that because like it's being politically correct, but it's not being politically correct at the same time.
I love the movie for that reason, that it just blows the lid off of what you think you're going to see with those types of films. I will say that it was a lot of blood going on, a lot of blood and gore, a little too much for my taste because I don't really care for that thing, and I wasn't aware that that's what was happening. I'm like, oh my God, I have to turn my head.
But the music choice is what it was going on.
Soundtrack, okay, yeah.
9 to 5.
The soundtrack was kind of happening. The soundtrack was on point. I'll give them that. But I really enjoyed this film, and thank you for bringing it to my attention because I really wasn't. Like, there's certain films that I know that I'm a film critic / blogger and that I should embrace all film because all film is art, but there are just some things that are not in my wheelhouse of taste. Horror films are one of them. So I, or something on the line of like thriller horror, I can't mess with it. So, but thank you. I enjoyed that film a lot. I enjoyed that film a lot. Let's hit Show Dogs real quick. Now, I said that I love a good movie where there is talking babies and talking animals, and I'm so sad that I missed Show Dogs. So talk to me about Show Dogs. You should not be.
You should not be.
Dang,
I don't even want. I don't want to even give this movie that much time because, in all fairness, like we grew up watching a lot of movies about animals. I mean, I remember Homeward Bound, Milo and Otis. I mean, the animated movies like Oliver and Company. I love. I'm a dog lover. I love watching movies about animals. There's a movie coming out called Dog Days that looks great. That's not where the animals talk. The Dog's Purpose was pretty good, even though it got the crap end of the stick because of that TMZ controversy that ended up being false. So I'm a big supporter of movies with dogs. But there's just something so lazy about this movie where it's just, we're just going to keep referencing like other popular things and pop culture, and that's all it is. Like, so the dog who works with Will Arnett's character, who, as we all know, played Batman in Lego Batman,
right?
And
he's like the voice of Batman everywhere these days. Yeah. So
like throughout the movie, they make it that reference like 4 or 5 times. Like, it's like, well, I guess I'm not Lego Batman. I guess I'm not. It's like, all right, we get the joke.
But see, you're looking at it again. You're looking at it from an adult point of view, right? Isn't this for kids?
No. This is the difference.
Okay.
I saw and I'm very easygoing on most kids' movies. I really am, because I make it a priority to take, like, either if I'm home, I'll take one of my brothers, or we'll take Ashley's nieces, or our friend Allison has a kid and we take her along. And I saw this as a press screening, but it was also like tied to the premiere. It was a very
Right.
weird thing. So there was a whole bunch of kids in my audience.
Right.
Kids did not react to this movie.
Really?
Kids were just kind of like sitting there. Like there was maybe 2 or 3 chuckles from kids. And I mean, they were
that's
really,
not good.
you know, like spread out. Like they were
Okay.
not. And I mean, there's, I think kids right now, we've reached this level where they expect more too. And I think parents who want to take their kids to see movies like this expect more from those types of movies now. You know,
Okay.
it's like the Ice Age, I think, is the effect. Like the first Ice Age was really good, and then they kept doing it, and it just like the jokes were just repetitive and like the same. And this is from the guy who did the Smurfs, and the first Smurfs was okay, but then they did like 2 more, and like every single one, the box office numbers kept going down, and
Okay.
it's that's how I feel. I just
All right.
I just don't know why this guy keeps getting work.
All right.
I don't
well,
get it.
Show Dogs is clearly
No.
getting a thumbs down from you.
Yeah.
But you know what's not going to get a thumbs down? Ooh, honey, that podcast that drops every Friday. Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition, hosted by our own Maria Menounos. It drops every Friday on iTunes. I did say that already.
Yes.
But I did want to tell you that it features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of your life. I don't know anybody that could stand to not use that advice. And from health to wellness, to career, to relationships, finances, and so much more. Let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. So go on over to iTunes, subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos, and you guess what? When you get over there, let them know that Carla Renata and Scott Menzel from Black Tomatoes at Black Hollywood Live sent you over there. So be sure to rate and comment. Let them know that we sent you there, and check out Maria's Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast podcast edition. Check it out on iTunes every Friday. While you're at it, when you go over to iTunes, also check out Black Tomatoes. We have an iTunes podcast over there too that's in conjunction with the show. So give us some stars, give us some ratings, do the same thing over at YouTube, and let us know that you love us. And I just want to give a few shout outs to some folks that love us all the time. Michelle Mabel, a couple of other people, but I'll get to that in the second show. I'll give them a bigger shout out when I get to the second show. The one on the 27th for Memorial Day. It'll be a Memorial Day shout out. What? So we're real quick, since we're running out of a little bit of time here. We both saw Solo.
Yes.
And I just wanted to give folk a little teaser about what they may see in the theaters when it drops on the 25th.
They can't know my thoughts until the next episode.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yep. Nope.
So
nope.
I'll just
And I'm keeping a straight face, so you can't tell.
All right, okay. So I'll just say that Star Wars fans that love Han Solo, you will not be disappointed. And that's it for the teaser. So next week on Black Tomatoes, we will be talking about Han Solo,
Yep.
a Star Wars story. We'll be talking about some hits and misses of Memorial Day films that have come out over the years and which ones we like and which ones we hate. And that's it. So this is it for this 13th edition of Black Tomatoes at Black Hollywood Live. I am your host, Carla Renata. You can find me across all social media platforms at The Curvy Critic. Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you, check out 2 documentaries that are up and out. One is called Pope Francis, A Man of His Word, and the other one is called The Gospel According to Andre. It is a wonderful documentary. I'll preview a little something from that next week, too. And where can we find you, Scott?
For an indie movie, you should check out First Reformed. To find my written coverage, you can go to WeLiveEntertainment.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Movieman Menzel, on Twitter and Instagram at The Other Scott M.
All right.
Thank you.
That does it for this edition of Black Tomatoes. We will see you next week for Memorial Day weekend. Bye.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined!
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.